Καλησπέρα σας. Welcome everybody. I understand this presentation is going to be in English, so the introduction has to be in English as well. It's always very nice to have a book presentation, especially in a bookshop, but it's today it's even more special for us because Artemis is my cousin, so it's even better for us. So we're going to learn about life, probably a different side of life from what we know, and the experts here are going to talk about it for us. As in the movies, when you go to the movies, they always tell you forthcoming events. So the next event we're going to have here is going to be on the 14th of November. An excellent Greek author, Stephanou, again, it's self-help, the book that he has. And if you have time, it's a very good opportunity to come and see him. After the presentation, all welcome to come at the back to have something to drink and something to buy. We also have Artemis books if anybody wants to buy, and Artemis will be there to sign them for you. Okay? So, they're all yours.
Hello everyone, welcome. Today we're having a very special book presentation about life and living our life in a conscious way. And the first presenter of the evening, Maggie Erotokritou, is a book author herself, written 3 books, of which one has been translated in Greek and is currently writing her 4th one on empowering women. She's a mentor, a meditation teacher, and an empowerment coach. With a background in transpersonal psychology and psychosynthesis, Maggie has been working in the fields of consciousness and intuitive healing for over 40 years.
I'm really excited to be here tonight and really excited for Artemis. Because I've been part of her process and her book writing. I've been around the whole story, let's say, which has been great. I met Artemis about 2.5 years ago when she invited me to go to her new office to do a space clearing. And when I arrived there was nothing there. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing a space clearing, but what else are we going to do? We're going to do some feng shui, some meditation, see what the space is needed. But she had such a clear vision. I was so impressed and so inspired. So she shared her vision with me, I shared mine with her, and we got to work. And then a couple of months later, there was this beautiful office with great energy and everything in place, which was then added to and added to. So that was sort of the beginning of our story together. And we've done lots of things together since then. And I also attended her conscious leadership workshop, which was amazing because I'm not a corporate person. So I didn't know anything really about the corporate world. But it was an amazing introduction, and Artemis has so much to give in that field, so much. She's already making huge changes and planting seeds all over the place, and of course the book is going to do that even more. So after the workshop, and we were talking and discussing, and then she told me she's going to start writing this book. But I was amazed, having been a writer myself for a long, long time, besides writing books and writing every day on my blog and different things, it just flowed through her so quickly. In a few weeks, she wrote this book, and it was like, how is that possible to write a book so quickly? And it was the same with the publishing, and she was just working with friends upstairs, as we say. And it just flowed so easily and so beautifully. And I'm going to read a few notes that I have taken from the book, things that have stood out to me, things that we have shared and that she talks about. And she writes just the way she speaks and the way she lives her life. So that's quite amazing. So she's teaching people on all levels to become conscious leaders anyone actually can become a conscious leader in any field. And she teaches them about being authentic, having right relationships, caring very deeply, because it's about working from the heart. It's just not the mind stuff, it's very much the heart. And taking the corporate social responsibility to a whole other level. And it's not that she's just teaching these things. I mean, what's so impressive is how much she lives it. And of course, it's all in the book. So you don't have to be in the corporate world, of course, to be interested in this. Any area of your life, you can apply the principles, a lot of spiritual principles. But it connects to every field. So writing her wonderful book, Life, Thoughts That Will Make the World Go Round, based upon her experiences and her work, and it's like you feel her in the book, who she is, what her experiences are, the difficulties that come up, the setbacks that come up, which is for everyone, whatever we do. It's not just that it looks so easy. Sometimes we see that and we think that, but then it's not. And she shares that very deeply in the book and very authentically. But she also shares how her journey began, which as a young girl, she already knew that she wanted to be a lawyer from very young and to make a difference in the world. But she didn't want to just be an ordinary lawyer. She wanted to be a holistic lawyer. So who heard of a holistic lawyer, you know, doing meditation and taking all of that into the corporate world? And here we are. It's actually happening. So she describes her vision and how it developed over many years and many experiences, coming from Australia, going to Greece, not knowing anyone, then coming to Cyprus, not knowing many people here either, and how that business evolved. And I was in there right at the beginning of that, so I feel deeply grateful for having seen how quickly things have evolved. So this holistic approach that she wanted to do really needed a lot of courage, and also to take a quantum leap, because you cannot just take easily things into an environment that is so used to doing things in a certain way. And it was like, no, I'm not going to do it in that way. So she's going through the barriers and just doing it the way she wants. And it's amazing how people are responding, because I believe they've been waiting for this for a long, long time. So she's a visionary and she's an influencer in her field, and she really walks her talk. And she shares the importance of doing the inner work. It doesn't happen unless you do the inner work. So by doing the inner work and using meditation as a tool, you can achieve a purpose-driven business, become successful and financially prosperous, as you respect the needs of everyone that you come into contact with, so that you create an environment where everyone can have opportunities and thrive. So it's always two-way, it's always for everyone. And she's always willing to listen to what others have to say and to learn from every experience. As I said before, the way she writes is the way that she lives her life, with deep passion, with presence and honesty, staying true to what she believes in. She doesn't compromise. And it's wonderful to see that, because why should you? Her desire is to create a great shift in consciousness in the business world, so that everyone can live their lives through the eyes of love, and that is so beautiful. Living with purpose and empowering others to make a real difference. Thank you.
Our second presenter of the evening is Walid Khabbaze. Walid is the founder of MindX events and the business consultancy Concept K, a chartered certified accountant by trade, and winner of the Cranfield School of Management's Leadership Award. Walid has immersed himself over the past few years in physical health training, personal growth and development. His passion is to improve people's well-being, physical, mental, and spiritual.
Thank you, Walid. Friends and friends, I'm so honored and grateful that Artemis has asked me to speak here today at the launch of her magnificent and first book, Thoughts, Life, Thoughts That Make the World Go Round, Up and Not Down. So I'd like to thank you on Artemis' behalf for your time, because like you, we also believe that time is our most precious resource, even more valuable than money. We can always get back money, but we can never get back time. And in return, we hope to give you some inspiration, even if you just get an idea or a shared experience or a word that you share with somebody who you mingle with here tonight, or from the book that Artemis has written. We hope that all of these things, or one of these things, can expand your mind and add value to your life. Artemis is a very special person. Every single one of us here has experienced the unique, instant, heart-to-heart connection that she creates. Artemis writes in her book, Love is the beginning and the end of everything. And we all know that all her intentions, interactions, and actions come from only one place, a place of love. Artemis and I met 8 years ago when we worked at the same company right here in Cyprus. She's a lawyer, I'm an accountant, and we clicked and we became good friends. If someone asked me back then what I thought about Artemis, I would have said, she's very knowledgeable, she's very confident, and she seems to always have everything in order. Her personal life, her work life, her personal growth, everything seems to be in order. But above all, she always did what was right. There's no time pressure, no money, and no command from any member of the board of directors can sway Artemis to do what was not in line with her values. The signs of a conscious leader. Some people may have referred to this as single-mindedness, but all of us here know that to do what is ethically and morally right, to have integrity, and to live in line with your true self needs courage and responsibility. And I just love what Artemis wrote in her book, and she says, courage is the combination of fearlessness, creativity, and hope. It is the ability to laugh when your eyes are stinging. It is a beam of power. And conscious leaders are courageous because they've learned how to control their fears. Courage leads to inspiration of teams and the creation of growth mindsets. And by being responsible, open to challenges, truly listening, and living in line with their true values, those are what conscious leaders are. I want to share a short story about how Artemis' guiding principles and her work in conscious leadership has affected me personally. Once upon a time, I had a client, and this client had an employee that was very loyal, very committed, and worked for her for many, many years. An ambitious young lady. And one day, this employee informed the management of the company that she was pregnant. A few minutes later, the management team received an email from the client saying, instructing them to let this person go, and saying, please do not keep her and release me. The same afternoon, the client ordered a meeting with the employee, the management, and myself. And during the meeting, many horrible and irrational and immoral things were said. I felt terrible. I couldn't stand what was happening, and I couldn't take it another second. So I stopped for a second, and I thought, okay, what would my friend Artemis do? Okay? And I built up the courage to raise my consciousness and be mindful and watch mindfully how these so-called board of directors were watching while a poor lady was being verbally and emotionally abused. And so I suddenly said out aloud, this is not the way, right? And I was shut down by the client, so I stood up And as I walked out of the door, I was asked angrily, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Every single person in this room does not agree with what's going on, and I'm not taking part in any of this." And I just charged out. Be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Oscar Wilde. The key word in this sentence is yourself. I believe that every single one of us has a has a source of infinite shining value that's all connected with each other, and that this is being covered. It's being covered day by day, week by week, year by year by layers of societal beliefs, limiting beliefs, and cultural conditioning. And in order to shine, the only way is to peel off those layers that have covered our infinite value, our inner being. And the one thing that stands out for me about Artemis is that she discovered this from a very young age. She was introduced to meditation at high school, and instead of letting life's challenges create layers, she made powerful meanings and lessons and turned inwards. And she saw every time a glimpse of her inner being. And because she listened, and she was able to listen to her shining inner being, this is what made her the wonderful conscious woman, mother, wife, and leader that she is today. Artemis, you inspire us in the true sense of the word, in spirit. Inspire. In her book, Artemis speaks from her spirit to ours. Some of her words made my hair stand on end and my eyes fill with tears of inspiration. A conscious leader is someone with a set of beliefs and values that they live by and are the basis of their vision. What Artemis has created in her life, family, career, and now her message to the world in her book is a result of her clear, loving vision. A conscious leader communicates her values and vision not only verbally, but silently through her actions. And like Maggie said, Artemis walks the talk, she leads by example, and she inspires. A conscious leader enables her teams and colleagues to get the job done through support, coaching, and transparency, and the testimonials of her staff and their present and associates here today is a proof of this. And a conscious leader looks after herself. She looks inwards. And she knows her colleague's success, and of her organization is dependent on her own well-being. And this is why Artemis chooses in her power of free choice to be awake, aware, attuned to herself, to others, and the world around her, to commit to her beliefs, stand strong in her values, and live a full, passionate life in line with her purpose. The world is now blessed, we are blessed, the world is blessed to be able to read her book and to apply her guiding principles in their lives, in their families, and in their professional lives. Thank you, Artemis, my guru, my Arturu.
And our third presenter for the evening, Katerina Stephanou, a lawyer as well, with a background in compliance. Katerina has been managing global financial crime risk and internal corporate governance through a conscious compliance viewpoint. She's the CEO of Step Up, Stop Slavery, focused on empowering the financial and business industries to make modern-day slavery economically unprofitable, while giving survivors the space to heal and inspire others to do the same.
Wow, it's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me in this space with you and these amazing people. For me, Artemis is absolutely incredible. We haven't known each other long recently in here. We met about a month ago, where I heard Artemis speak at the conference in Limassol. And it was just like an instant kind of recognition and connection and alignment with values and what we stand for and what we're creating in the world. This book is the access and what's needed and the stepping point to so much change that we need to step up and implement in our world today. So if you have a look, just to like the context that I'm standing in when I'm reading this book and doing my work, is that if we look at what's happening right now, which we can see lots of breakdowns, political breakdowns, systems breaking down, but what comes from breakdown naturally, the natural evolution of things, is rebirth. And what's happening, the source of the rebirth at the moment, it's coming down to grassroots level. The way that we will change our world, elevate humanity and consciousness, is only through each and every one of us waking up to ourselves, to our hearts, connecting to our heart space and acting from our hearts. All you need is love, and that's it. And this is such a powerful message, and I'm sure it takes a lot of courage when you're in the corporate world and coming from this legal background to really stand up and open your heart and say, what we need is to shift businesses and ourselves from our head to our heart. But businesses won't shift until people do, because the consciousness of a business is only at the level of the consciousness of its leaders. So this book has come at exactly the right time. People are, as you said, people are thirsty for it. People are looking for it. I mean, they're looking for it, and they don't know, they don't have the courage to step up and talk about love and spirituality in the business world, but this is what we need to do. And if we have like Marianne Williamson standing up and talking about love and spirituality, then what are we scared of? And if we had this conversation the other day, I was like, oh my God, it's like, you know, compliance and financial crime, and we're talking about love, and she's like, but that's it. So it's really important for every single one of us to step up and take responsibility now. And what that gives us access to, because if you raise your consciousness and connect to your heart in your everyday life, who you are in your everyday life is who you are everywhere. And when you come from a heart space, it gives you access to integrity, transparency, honesty. This is what shows up when you come from your heart. And if we look at the way we conduct our businesses, that's exactly what's missing. Integrity, it's missing. Like, real care for human lives is missing. We're dealing with a state in our world. We have 40 million human slaves in our world today. I mean, it's shocking. Human trafficking generates over $50 billion a year. It's just under drug trafficking. And this is coming from one source, because businesses are run from a closed heart. The only access to really working and solving all these big problems in our world is us, every single one of us, accessing our heart space. But not just that. It's not enough for us all to do our inner work and access our hearts. What we need to do is put that into action. We need to have the courage to actually step up. We need to have the courage to face our fears, to stand up and use our voice for what we believe in and what our soul is telling us to do and what our purpose in this lifetime is. Each and every one of us has come here for a specific purpose. And this book, what I love about it is that it gives you access to really doing your work, to finding your purpose, getting aligned with who you are, why you're here, and then to take that next step, to face your fears, to stand up, to find your courage, to speak your truth, to take action that's going to make that difference. So, like in the business world, once you're a conscious leader, the rest of it comes by itself. It's not that big of an effort to run your business consciously when you're coming from your heart space. But what it gives you access to is the skills and the tools that we need to deal with a lot of our problems, to deal with conflict resolution. We have some experts here in conflict. So essential things like listening, active listening, listening from a heart space with empathy, listening to what's behind being said. What are the needs what are the needs behind what's being said? What's really the reason for the conflict? And Artemis talks about listening in her book as well, like listening behind. So understanding each other, really understanding to, who you're speaking to, and having that clear space of not listening to your own inner dialogue when you're listening to somebody else, because most of the time, if you look at yourself when you're listening, you're the other person speaking, but you're listening to your thoughts, your opinions, your judgment, what you're going to say next, that's what we're listening through. But we need to do that work with ourselves and that grounding and that clearing, which is daily work, to be able to hold that clear space, to listen really authentically to what someone else is telling us, to be able to find a new way and find a new solution to the problems that we're dealing with. So, I don't know what else to say. For me, and for what I'm passionate about, which is ending slavery and trafficking, this is the link. This is the access point. Everyone needs to read this book. People, we need to be aware, because once we're aware, we come from a different space, we take different actions. When we're aware in our own self, and we're in an airport, we're walking down the street, and we spot something that doesn't look right, a child being exploited, a woman being exploited, when we're aware and we have that courage and clarity, we will step up and say something and stop it. Every single one of us can change a life by being aware, clear, and have the courage to speak up. So in our lives, we need to be clear. We need to come from a heart space with courage. In our businesses, we need to bring that into action. We need to have our corporate governance structures coming from a space of love and care, caring about human rights in our families. And we need to care about each other. We really need to care about each other, elevate each other. We're human. We fall down, we struggle. Hold each other, get each other by the hand and hold each other up, because we're in this together. And thank you so much. This is gold.
A few brief words from Artemis. She told me she won't take much of the time.
30 seconds,
on
30 seconds, I promise.
So she will be with you, each and every one of you in a while.
Okay, so thank you very much to all of you for coming. Old friends from near and from far. The High Commissioner of Australia, His Excellency, Mr. Sam Beaver. It is an honour to have you here with us tonight. Thank you. Thank you to my wonderful presenters, who I wouldn't be able to do this without. Thank you for your heartfelt words. Thank you for sharing stories. Thank you for making me realize again how blessed and grateful I am. I thank you. As a lawyer, I have dedicated my whole life to helping others because I always believed in the noble virtues of my profession, and I have stuck to these regardless of the circumstances. I value integrity as well as living my life built on loving kindness. People don't often associate my profession with providing such support or even healing at a deeper level, but that's the truth of what we do every single day. My studies in psychology also, and my passion for personal development and spiritual growth over the years, eventually became one and the same with my passion for the legal work that I've been doing. And this is how the book was born. I want to express my deepest gratitude that I was chosen to write this book, that it was picked up for publication effortlessly within 2 weeks. It was published in the UK, and it was released to the world. I truly believe in the power that we all have to create change, to be beacons of light, and to make this world a better place for everyone. Whilst we all have our distinct purpose and our distinct driving force, collectively we can move mountains. My vision for a conscious, empowered, and inspired world has gone into this book. I wanted it to be simple, a user-friendly guide of sorts that is applicable to all from teenagers onwards. There is no repetition, there are no long-winded stories, but there is universal wisdom, empowering insights, and a whole lot of unconditional love. So from my soul to yours, I thank you.
Artemis will be available for book signing.
Oh wait, we have a raffle. We have the raffle.
Yeah, we have the raffle.
Yeah,
Before we go to the food and drinks.
Yeah. So who wants to? Do you want to pick a? Come and pick a raffle ticket up. One ticket. One ticket. One. And give it to Mummy. Memnia. Memnia is not here tonight, but we can. She's She's in the UK, I think, isn't she? Yeah. So, okay, you can pick another one. You can take them there now and play. We will move now to the back. You can have a drink. We have refreshments. You can buy the book. I can sign it for you. We can chat. Thank you very much for coming.